What's going on, guys? Mattio Daddio Mining here. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Welcome to part 2 on how to install your core wallets on a VM using Proxmox. In part 1, we set up a workstation, installed Proxmox, and set up our hard drive pool. If you are just now tuning into this and you need help installing Proxmox, please check out video 1 first. I will leave a link to that in the description. Starting off, I will see you in just a second over at my computer. There's a little bit of BIOS work that we need to do first, so I'll see you in just a sec. So what we need to do, something I forgot to do in the first video, is we need to enable virtualization. This is extremely important. I learned this one the hard way when screwing around with this, previously. And I spent days and days trying to figure out why the hell my VM was not working. What would happen when virtualization was not enabled? You would click start on your VM, it would act like it's starting, and then a second later it would just not start. And then there was a KVM, some type of KVM setting. I'll show it to you in a second when I go back onto my computer. I'm back on my computer, but some KVM setting that I could disable that would make the VM boot, but it made it absolutely slow as hell. Like, just god awful, like it was running on a Celeron from 2012. Just freaking terrible. So, on an HP, you want to boot into your BIOS. F10 is the number for that. And to get to virtualization, you want to go to Security. And then System Security. Virtualization. Okay, escape to exit. Save changes. Absolutely. So now, while we're waiting for this to boot, I don't think I'm going to get a second CPU in here. I am just having all kinds of problems with that. I actually got the correct cooler. So, it's kind of hard to see, but this is, let me see if I can get this better. Sorry guys, the lighting in here is horrible. But you can see that it's different. So I finally got the correct one. That's great. Awesome sauce. So I got everything installed and it's still giving me that exact same problem where it's a black screen, and then eventually, after 5 or 10 minutes or so, all the fans start to spin up like the device is just getting ready to take off. I never get any picture. I never get any post beeps, error messages, anything like that. Nothing. Just black screen and then nothingness. I scoured Google. There is no setting that I'm aware of in the BIOS that I need to enable to be able to use the CPU 1 slot. I have tried. I have tried both CPUs. Both work. Both boot. They are the same stepping. I mean, everything checks out. Like, I ran both of them through CPU Z, and I mean they're the same. Everything should work. So I mean, what I'm thinking this is pointing to is, I'm thinking the slot has to have failed. It's never been used that I know of. So I don't know if it was damaged or what, but I have a thread out on Tom's Hardware on their forum, and I mean, everybody's given me already pretty much all the information of everything that I've already tried. Clear CMOS, make sure the stepping is the same. Trying the CPU in different slots, everything boots, yada yada, blah 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 blah. So I don't know. I'm gonna see if somebody a little bit smarter than me can figure that one out on Tom's Hardware forum. So we'll see. And if not, then I guess one CPU will just have to do it. I would really like to use this device for proof of useful work for Flux, and a second CPU I think would just be badass to to solidify that a little bit more. But you know what? If I can, I can. I think I've done all the troubleshooting I can. It is what it is at this point. So sorry, rant over. I will see you guys in just a minute at my computer. All right, guys, back at the computer. So one other thing that we need to do, and I've actually already done it, but I'll run you guys through it. So we need to add ISOs to our Proxmox node so we can set up VMs with them. So go to local, ISO images. There should be a folder in here pre-selected. I've already uploaded some ISOs, but what you're going to do is you're going to go to upload. You're going to navigate to whatever file you have. In my case, I'm using Windows 10 22H2. And then you will select that file, and then you will just hit upload, and it will upload. If you are using Linux-based and you actually have a URL path, you can go here to download from URL, and all you have to do is just paste in the URL, and it'll actually pull it in for you, which is, I think that's freaking awesome. That saves you a step, and instead of having to download it and then upload it. So it's a little bit of a time saver right there. The next thing that you want to do is you want to download and upload this Virtualize ISO right here. That's going to be some of our drivers for our VM. And as always, I will leave a link to this in the description below. For those of you that don't know how to obtain the Windows 10 ISO, just Google Microsoft Media Creation Tool. Download it, and it'll run you through the process of getting an ISO. I mean, all you do is just create an ISO from it. It's pretty straightforward. If you anybody has any questions on that, please leave a comment below, and I can help assist with that. Okay, so now with all of our ISOs set up, the next thing that we want to do is finally create a VM. So click on your node. Then you can either click on Create VM up here, or you can right-click on your node and hit Create VM there. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so the node is our Proxmox node. So the way that they name their virtual machines here is they go by ID numbers. So starting at 100, that is how they're going to identify that. We will give it a name so we can identify it by a name instead of a number. So let's say we create a VM now. The next VM we create, it will automatically be at 101. So it'll keep track for you. So let's do for me, I'm just setting up all of my core wallets in here eventually. So let's start with VTC, Vertcoin. And Vertcoin was actually pretty damn good for me. My only regret on it is I was mining Caspa and Vertcoin at the same time. And when I was doing that, Caspa was really in its infancy. Nobody really knew about it yet. I had, I think when I had everything on it, I was making like 12 or 1,300 Caspa a day on 4 GPU rigs. Which, I mean, I think today it's under 100. Especially with all, the KS0s and KS1s and 2s and coming, the 3s coming too. But at the time, I was solo mining Vertcoin, and it was going for 17 cents a pop. So, and I was hitting blocks solo left and right on Vertcoin, and there was nobody on it. So, I mean, I was actually making decent money. I was way the hell profitable. I mean, I was making, I don't know, $15, $20 a day off of it, maybe a little bit more. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna hit a certain amount of VTC, and then I'm going to put everything on Caspa. So I hit my goal on VTC, and then I put everything on Caspa like I said I was going to. And then like 3 weeks later, everybody and their mother found out about Caspa and then jumped on it. And that's when that was the beginning of the end of GPU mining for Caspa. That's when everything started going down. I went from 12 or 1,300 Caspa a day to, I think it was like 150 or 135, somewhere in there. So, yeah, anyway, little history lesson there. Okay, so next thing, you're just going to hit next. And now this is where we choose our ISO that we uploaded earlier. So you want to choose your local your storage where it's at, which is already selected. And then you're going to choose Windows 10 22H2 or whatever ISO that you desire. So then we want to change the type, which is for me Microsoft Windows and Windows 10. Okay. Graphics card. So a lot of people will say to use Spice. I'm not going to use Spice. I am going to use VirtIO GPU. One thing that I found odd about Spice is I could not get my mouse, my icon to line up. So when you're, I mean, this doesn't matter if you're RDP'd in, but to get RDP'd in, you need to set it up for RDP access. And for some reason, for me, when I was using Spice, my mouse was in a different spot than what it was. So say my mouse on VNC was here. Well, then my mouse on the computer would be like way the hell over here. And it would move in sync like it was a mirror. So if I moved over here, the mouse would be over here and it would be moving. So it made it very difficult to select anything. It was a pain in the ass. So I ended up going back and choosing VirtIO GPU. We're going to change this to Q35. We're going to change the BIOS to OVMF. Add EFI. EFI storage will be our main storage. Let's see here. So then VirtIO SCSI single, that's fine. We are going to use the QEMU agent. And I am going to add TPM. You don't have to, but I'm going to store it on my local tank storage. Okay, so then we hit next. Okay, so we're going to change this from IDE to SCSI. And then you're going to choose your storage. Mine is called tank. I think I'm going to update this to, let's go to 40 gigabytes just in case. We were going to set this to write back and discard. Okay, sockets. I only have one socket. I wish I had two, but yeah, I just told you about that, and that's, yeah, makes me sad. Okay, so for cores, let's do, you know what? I think I'm going to, no, normally I think I would do 4, but I think I'm just going to do 2 on this one. I think when I set up my Caspa one, I'm going to do 4 on the Caspa one because I think I'm going to set up the node and just run a node off there and have that going all the time. So for right now, we will just set this one to 2 cores, and then we are going to set this down here to host. We're going to give this 4 gigabytes of memory, so 4096. Next, network, that's fine. We're going to change this to VirtIO, that's fine. Then next, check your settings, make sure everything looks good. Finish. And then that's going to get our VM going. Just give it a second or so and it should be okay. It should start saying, it should pop up and say VTC here in just a second. There it is. Go over here to console. And if we did everything right, if we hit start, it should boot into Windows. Start successful. Good. There we go. Okay, looks like we're booting into Windows. Good so far. And looks like the virtualization is working. My mouse is working. And even before, oh yeah, I wanted to show you. So the thing that, so when I was having that problem, when I would hit start, nothing would happen. It would just act like it's starting and then it would quit. So I did a little bit of Google searching. And if you go into this KVM hardware virtualization and you went up here to edit and you unchecked that, you would then be able to boot into it, but it was slow as hell. And just getting to this part right here would take, I shit you not, like at least 10 minutes. It was awful. I don't know how I actually made it through imaging AVM like that. I mean, it took, I think, probably 2 hours. Okay, anyway, so next, install now. I don't have a product key. I'm going to choose Windows 10 Pro. Accept the license. Custom install. So we have no drives here yet. We have to load the driver for that. So go here to load. Ah, shit. Okay, I forgot one thing. Let's quit. Stop. Okay. So you remember that Virtualize ISO that I told you about previously? Yeah, I totally forgot to do that. So let's go back here to hardware. We need to add a CD drive. So add CD drive. And I think IDE is fine. Go to local, Vert.io. That has all of our drivers and wonderful stuff. Okay, now we can go back here to console, and now we can start our VM. Okay, so just like before, next, install now. I do not have a product key. Windows 10 Pro. Accept license. Custom install. So this is where we were at before. You will not see the drive here. Now we need to load the driver. So this is where we loaded up that CD for that Vert.io ISO. So we are going to go here. See it right there. Expand that. And it is VIO SCSI right here. We are on Windows 10, AMD 64. Okay. Yep, that is correct. Next. Okay, there's our 40 gigabytes that we allocated earlier. Next. And here we go. I'll speed this up for you guys and I'll talk to you in a sec. Okay, we are back and rebooting. And I wish there was a way, and I'm sure there is a way, but so with Rufus on the new version of Rufus, you can set up to completely skip the UBI, the out of box experience with all those those dumb questions when you set up Windows for the first time. And I know you can set up an XML to skip all that crap too. It's just so much work. I mean, I suppose if I really wanted to, I could actually probably boot from a thumb drive and just forward all that crap through to boot specifically from my Rufus thumb drive. But, again, by the time I actually get that set up and get it going, I'll have been done with the UB anyway, so, yeah. Okay, United States. US keyboard layout. Skip adding a second one. I don't have internet. Continue with limited setup. We'll just call it admin. Why not? Deselect all this crap. No Cortana. Go away. Okay, we are back. So we are still missing drivers. Let's go to Device Manager. Yep, missing all that stuff. So, update driver, browse my computer. We're going to go to that same Vert.io drive. And I gotta remember where this is. That's not it. I think it was a NetKVM. We'll try it. Yep, that was it. Okay, now we want to install the rest of our stuff. And we'll go back to this Vert.io right here. There is an installer we can run right here, except we want the 64-bit one, not the 32-bit one. So let's run that. There we go. All drivers installed. Good, good, good. Okay, actually I should have left that file explorer up. We need to run this guest agent here as well. We'll try this one. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is run updates. See if there are any. Oh yeah. It's downloading and installing all that extra crap. Hope that gave us enough space. All right, well, I'm going to let this stuff go. Then I will be back with you guys in a little bit. Actually, while we're waiting for all this stuff to install, we can enable RDP. No. Come on. Okay. Maybe. Okay. Okay, I'll let these finish up and reboot, and then I'll be back with you. Okay. Updates installed, rebooted. Device manager shows we have all drivers installed. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install the Vertcoin Core wallet on my device. And Edge can shut the hell up. Download wallet. Windows. I'm going to choose to keep it, obviously. Okay, well, this is just setting up and doing its thing. What I'm going to do after that is I'm going to put in my seed phrase to migrate, I guess not really migrate, but get my original Vertcoin wallet over to here. You guys don't really need to see that. And I mean, really, we've accomplished what we needed to accomplish. I don't think you need to see the rest. So I think that's about going to wrap it up. Everybody have a wonderful night. It's about 2:30 in the morning. So I think I am going to go to bed. Well, we'll see you guys later.